There are honestly not a lot of mysteries in FNaF's old lore that are left to solve in 2023. A lot of it was revealed in the books, and the topic that I want to cover is no exception. I'm Mr. Pinball, and what I want to know is, who is FNaF's first victim? When I say first victim, I don't mean first victim of William Afton. I mean the first victim in the tragedy that is Five Nights at Freddy's. There are three options: Elizabeth Afton, the Crying Child, and Charlotte Emily. I'm going to tackle Elizabeth first. To believe Elizabeth died first is to believe that William Afton had fully known about possession and remnant before the death of Charlie and his youngest son. He had randomly learned about this stuff without having any paranormal or traumatizing event happen in his life. He then decided to make the fun times with the goal of capturing children in experimentation for remnant and emotional energy. I do not think you could logically believe this. Elizabeth not being in her bedroom in one minigame does not mean that she was dead, contrary to popular belief. Moving on with the other candidates, you'll come across the idea of it being the Crying Child. The Crying Child is an interesting case going for him. If you look at the novels, a timeline where Elizabeth was an only child and there was no Bite of 83, there was also never a puppet. Why was there no puppet? Some people believe that William Afton's youngest son never dying at that restaurant caused a security system for children to never be built. We call this system the puppet. So in the game's timeline, the Bite of 83 happening led to the puppet, but the puppet was sabotaged on that fateful night in 1983. While I think that could work, the problem with that idea is the puppet wasn't made to watch children. It was specifically coded to watch a specific child wearing a green band, Charlotte Emily. The Bite of 83 and Take Cake to the Children are two very different deaths. Also, people like to believe the Bite victim dies first because it gives William motivation to kill Charlotte out of revenge since Henry made Fredbear. This is objectively not true because William is shown to not care about his kids. He cares more about his work, his ideals, and self-preservation. I think that the Bite victim idea works, but there is far more evidence for Charlotte being the first, which I will disclose now. The big debate with Charlotte being the first depends on where you think Take Cake to the Children happens. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza or Fredbear's Family Diner. We play as a brown bear in the minigame, and many were quick to say that it must be Freddy Fazbear. We never got an answer until Security Breach released. In Security Breach, there were 3 posters of Fredbear's Family Diner. 2 of them are relevant to this video. The poster shows a brown bear in a Fredbear's Family Diner flyer. The second one shows a bear that is called Freddy in a black and white poster for Fredbear's Sing and Show. Freddy was at Fredbear's. He's literally in the TV show for Fredbear and Friends. The bear in Take Cake to the Children may not have been a Springlock suit, but it could very well have been a costume that employees could wear. The novels, which elaborate on who Charlie is, and unlike the games, says that William killed Charlie at Fredbear's. Finally, Henry says something in FNaF 6 which cannot be ignored.
I could make myself sleep, but not yet. Not until I undo what he has done and heal this wound. A wound first inflicted on me, but then one that I let bleed out to cause all of this.
The death of children in this series was a wound first inflicted on Henry, her father, and one that he let bleed out to start all of this. The final thing to talk about is, of course, motivation. Why does William kill Charlie? To that, we once again have to look at the books. William Afton is shown to have written in multiple diaries and furious and frantic rants on how jealous he is of Henry's ability to create robots and bring them a spark that he was never able to. William is jealous of Henry being capable of love. William never loved his children, so he physically abused Elizabeth in the novels because she was annoying him at certain times during his work. So why does he kill Charlie? Of course, it was because he was so jealous that he decided to take away Henry's source of joy, and send him down a dark path of regret and despair. If you refuse to use books for lore in the games, even though that's one of the things they're for, then believe that Charlie was a very young child, specifically 3 in the books, and Henry built a puppet to make sure that his 3-year-old daughter wouldn't leave the building and get into danger. It failed. I personally believe that Charlotte Emily is the first victim in the series, but what do you think? Leave a comment with your personal thoughts on the topic. The next video I release will be about changing FNaF 4's code to unlock the box. Until then, I'll see you on the flip side.